Right along, I want to get into some new music. It is Friday, and at first I did have a different lineup. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I had a different lineup when I first did this. So we're gonna skip past even the Jack Harlow album. You guys already know what happened with that. It flopped. Um, I can tell y'all why it flopped. Like I told my wife, very good album, very good album. It's a very good album. If y'all hear my kids out there, I do apologize, but my window's open. I'm smoking. So, anyway, yeah, very good album. Very, very good album. Let me first say that. The problem with the album and why it flopped, it lacked a lot of substance. Here's what I mean by that. We all have our core fan base that we list that listens to us and our music. Those of you that listen to Chill Murry music, I am on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Deezer if you're in Germany. I'm on all the DSPs, YouTube, everything you want to find. Chill Murry, Murry, if you want to find me. But if you have a core fan base, right? You also have to acknowledge the fact that the core fan base has been with you from day one, but mainly acknowledge the fact that when you're making it a big, put it to you like this. What's Poppin' was on his last project, okay? What's Poppin' didn't have the big label budget that was surrounding Come Home, the Kids Miss You. Let me explain. Come Home, the Kids Miss You was Jack Harlow's coming out debut album for the general consensus in the masses. Whether Jack Harlow realized that or not is what we're getting at. Okay? Jack, I think, like I said, is an amazing artist. I've been with Jack since I've been a fan of Jack Harlow since he had just the long curly hair, not the short curly hair that he has now. I'm talking about the long curls that he had before with the glasses and no beard whatsoever. I'm from that Jack fan base. When Drake was about to sign him to OVO and he was buff Jack Harlow. I remember that Jack Harlow. Just walking down his neighborhood in Kentucky rapping. That Jack Harlow I remember. So, you have to acknowledge this as a Jack Harlow fan. Yes, you know his story if you followed him from then. But, if you haven't followed him at all and you are new to Jack Harlow, a la What's Poppin', Nail Tech, First Class, Jack Harlow, as an artist, sometimes it is our job to recognize that we have a bigger fan base now to actually please, which means sometimes we actually have to tell our story over again. So I think that was the main reason why the album flopped. It lacked the substance of telling people who Jack was. And I think Jack mainly focused on just making great songs and great records. He didn't focus on telling us who Jack was. And like I said, it's one of those things where you're caught between a rock and a hard place because you're trying to please your core fan base and you're trying to please the general masses and you're trying to please the label at the same time. See, that's a little bit different when you're trying to please three different categories and layers of people at the same time. That's not an easy feat. I'm just speaking on, like I said, why the album actually flopped. That's the main reason it did. It didn't have the substance, and then everyone started calling it Diet Drake. I get why it was called that. There's a lot of low-tone melodies, similar to Drake's. A lot of the records were just good for if you're at a function and you're just playing it in the background of the barbecue. It's not music that you're gonna go back and hear like, oh, what did he say? It's not. Damn, yo, this is a good conversation to have. Let's talk about that. It wasn't any of those records, and like I said, that's the main thing that a lot of artists sometimes forget is that we have to let people in on our lives when we make these albums. We have no choice but to do that, especially in today's day and age when you have IG, different forms of social media that let the fans in on our lives. For goodness sakes, you have people like Bad Barbie making $50 million on OnlyFans just showing herself, which I'm not going to get into that because, in my opinion, that was kind of pedophilic that she made $50 million on OnlyFans. That means there's a lot of grown ass nasty men that were looking at a young. She just turned 19. I just want let's put that in perspective. She just turned 19, 20 years old. So, and she's been on OnlyFans for quite some time. So, anyway. Yes, you have to let the fans in on your life in today's world. That's just how social media is. Remember Lotto talking about in a couple of interviews that she's grown up in this social media life. So, I mean, that's just the thing. Sometimes you just have to let people in on your actual life. But there are also artists that don't have to necessarily conform to that. Because they do a very good job on the albums, just letting you know who they are as people already from the jump.